When I moved into that apartment, the first thing the landlord told me was strange. He said, "One room will stay locked. You don't need access to it." He explained that it was being used for storage, old furniture, some maintenance stuff. He said it casually, like it was no big deal. I didn't question it. The apartment was cheap, the location was good, and I needed a place fast. For the first few weeks, everything felt normal. I followed a routine: wake up, go to work, come back tired, eat dinner, scroll on my phone, sleep. Nothing felt wrong. But then, small things started happening. The first thing I noticed was food going missing. Not entire meals, just small things. A slice of bread, half a bottle of water, a yogurt cup I was saving. At first, I laughed it off. I assumed I was just forgetting. Stress does that to you. Then it happened again and again. I started paying attention. I counted things, took mental notes, but every time something went missing, I still found a way to explain it away. I told myself I was being paranoid. A week later, I noticed something else. I came home from work one evening and walked into the bathroom. The mirror was completely clean. No fog marks, no fingerprints. The problem was, I hadn't showered yet. I stood there staring at my reflection, trying to remember if I had wiped it earlier. I hadn't. That night, I didn't sleep well. Over the next few days, the apartment started feeling occupied. That's the only way I can describe it. Not haunted, not scary, just like I wasn't as alone as I thought. Sometimes I smelled cigarette smoke in the hallway. I don't smoke. None of my neighbors smoked either. The smell would appear late at night, linger for a few minutes, and then disappear. I started locking my bedroom door when I slept. Then, one night, I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The locked room door was different. The handle was turned slightly downward. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining it, but the more I looked, the more obvious it became. Someone had touched it. I stood there for a long time, staring at that door. I didn't open it. I went back to my bedroom and locked myself inside. That night, I heard movement in the apartment. Very light footsteps, slow, careful. I stayed frozen in bed, listening. The footsteps never came near my room. They stayed in the hallway, near the locked door. The next morning, I called my landlord and asked him about the room again. He sounded annoyed. He repeated that it was storage and told me not to worry about it. That answer didn't help, so I did something I probably shouldn't have. I started documenting everything. I took photos of my fridge before leaving for work. I checked the bathroom mirror every morning. I listened at my bedroom door at night. And that's when I realized something terrifying. Things only changed when I wasn't home. Nothing ever moved while I was inside the apartment. One evening, I came home earlier than usual. The moment I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. The air felt stale, heavy, like someone had been breathing it. And the locked room door, it was open, just a few inches. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I walked toward it slowly. Inside wasn't storage. It was a bedroom. A mattress on the floor, used plates stacked neatly, clothes folded carefully against the wall. Someone had been living there. That's when I heard a sound behind me. The front door closed from inside the apartment. I didn't scream, I didn't think. I ran. I grabbed my keys, rushed outside barefoot, and didn't stop until I reached the street. The police came later. They searched the apartment. They told me the man had been using maintenance access points to move between apartments. He had keys. He knew the building layout. He had been living in that locked room for months, watching me, learning my schedule, knowing when I was asleep. I never stayed another night in that apartment, and to this day, whenever I rent a place, there's one rule I never break. If a room is locked, I don't move in.
I used to think the phrase living inside the walls was just something people said in creepy stories online. It never felt real to me, not until it happened in my own house. I was renting a small duplex on the outskirts of the city. It wasn't new, but it was clean and cheap, which mattered more to me at the time. The walls were thin, the floors creaked, and the place had this constant low hum, like old houses usually do. For the first couple of months, nothing felt strange. Then I started hearing noises. At first, it sounded like scratching, very faint, almost like something brushing against the inside of the wall. It usually happened late at night when everything else was quiet. I told myself it was rodents. Old houses get mice, everyone knows that. But the scratching didn't sound random. It followed patterns, short bursts, then silence, then another burst, always in the same spots, behind my bedroom wall and near the bathroom. I bought traps. They stayed empty. A few weeks later, the sounds changed. They weren't scratches anymore. They sounded like movement, not walking, sliding, like fabric rubbing against wood, like someone shifting their weight slowly, trying not to make noise. I remember lying in bed one night, staring at the wall, listening. Every time I shifted or cleared my throat, the sound stopped. That's when I realized something that made my skin crawl. Whatever was inside the wall could hear me. I started sleeping with a lamp on. Then I noticed something else. My house didn't feel the same when I came home. The air smelled different sometimes. Not bad, just stale, like someone had been breathing it for hours. Once I came home and found my bathroom light on. I knew I had turned it off. I checked the doors, locked. Windows, locked. I told myself I must have forgotten. That explanation worked until I found footprints. They were faint, barely visible, dusty marks near the laundry room vent. Not shoe prints, bare footprints. That night, I didn't sleep. The next day, I called the landlord and told him I thought there might be animals in the walls. He said he'd send someone to check it out. They never came. The noises got worse. Sometimes, late at night, I would hear slow tapping from inside the wall. 3 taps, then nothing. Other times, I heard what sounded like breathing, soft, rhythmic, human breathing. I started recording audio on my phone while I slept. When I played it back, most of it was silence. But around 3 a.m., I heard it. A low whisper, so quiet I almost missed it. I couldn't make out words, just a voice, inside my wall. I packed a bag that night and slept in my car. The next morning, I came back with a friend and forced myself to inspect the house in daylight. That's when we noticed something strange about the closet in the hallway. The back panel wasn't flush with the wall. We pushed it. It moved. Behind it was a narrow gap, just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. It led into the wall. We pulled the panel off completely. Inside was a makeshift space carved between the studs. Blankets, empty food containers, a flashlight, and a charger plugged into an outlet that shouldn't have been accessible. Someone had been living there, crawling through the walls, watching. The police later found a man hiding in another unit in the building. He had been moving between connected spaces for months, living inside walls, crawl spaces, and maintenance gaps. He knew when tenants were home. He knew when they slept. He chose houses where no one would hear him move. I moved out that same day. Even now, years later, I still can't live in older houses. I don't like vents, I don't like hollow walls, and I don't like silence at night. Because silence is when you hear things you were never supposed to hear. I moved into that house because it was cheap, quiet, and isolated. It was a small, single-story place on the edge of town, surrounded by empty land. No close neighbors, no traffic noise, just silence. At first, that silence felt peaceful. Then it started feeling watched. The house had an attic space above it, but no ladder, no staircase. The only access was a small hatch in the hallway ceiling. I never opened it. I didn't even think about it. I assumed it was empty. For the first month, nothing happened. Then one night, around 1:30 in the morning, I heard a sound above my bedroom. It wasn't loud, just a soft creak. I ignored it. Old houses make noises. Wood expands, pipes shift. I went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. Same time, same place, directly above my bed. This time, it sounded like something shifting its weight. Still, I told myself it was nothing. But over the next week, the sounds became more specific. Not random creaks. Footsteps. Slow footsteps. One step, pause. Another step, pause. Always late at night. Always after I turned off the lights. What bothered me most was how careful they sounded. Whoever or whatever was up there wasn't running or stumbling. The steps were controlled, quiet, intentional. I started sleeping with my phone's flashlight on my nightstand. Every night, I'd stare at the ceiling, listening. Some nights, the footsteps would stop the moment I moved. Other nights, they would continue, as if whoever was up there knew I was awake. I convinced myself it had to be an animal, raccoons, rats, something like that, until one night, the footsteps stopped directly above my bed and stayed there. No movement, no sound, just stillness. I held my breath. Then I heard it. Breathing. Very slow, very faint. Human. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I called in sick to work. My hands were shaking as I dragged a chair into the hallway and climbed up to the attic hatch. When I pushed it open, a smell hit me immediately. Stale air, sweat, old food. Inside the attic, the insulation was flattened like someone had been lying there regularly. There were food wrappers stuffed into the corners, an empty water bottle, a thin blanket rolled up against the wall. Someone had been living above me, watching me, listening to me. The police later told me the man had been entering through a loose vent on the side of the house. He stayed in the attic during the day and only came down when I left. He had been there for weeks. I moved out that same day, and even now I can't sleep in a room without checking the ceiling first.